I think the biggest thing that I tell my clients, even if they don't end up hiring me, find the fit for your personality. If you are interviewing somebody and your personalities just do not vibe and mesh, don't hire that person. You're going to hate working with them.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Living in Denver podcast. And today I'm super excited to be joined by Angelica, who is the owner of AQ Marketing. And if you don't know who she is, you really should, especially if you're a small business owner. You're in Denver, like you're going to want to pay attention and listen to this interview. So before we get into all the nitty gritty details on everything that you do, because I know you have a rich history, big background, how you doing today, Angelica?
I'm doing great. I am loving that the sun is out today. How are you, Alex?
I'm doing good. I know that rainy day over the weekend. I mean, I'm from Chicago originally, and like I just cherished it. But man, that was a lot of rain to come through this city.
And it was cold.
Yeah, it was. It was typical spring in Denver, But and the reason why I'm excited to have you on here is because, I'm a small business owner. You're a small business owner. I feel like it's becoming more attractive to be an entrepreneur, right? It no longer has this negative stigma. Oh, entrepreneur is unemployed, right? But when it comes down to it, like we wear a lot of hats and probably too many between marketing, accounting, bookkeeping, invoicing, hiring, firing, everything in between. And it can be daunting to the point where you might only be good at one or two things and the rest of it you suck at as a business owner and probably shouldn't do yourself, but we all try to do it anyways. So before getting into what you actually offer for people, like tell me your story. I know you've got a bit of a history in more corporate world stuff too, which makes your experience incredible. But yeah, tell me your story. How'd you get into this? Why are you doing it? And feel free to start wherever you want to start.
So, fun fact, my background actually started in mortuary science. That's what my degree's in. And then I met my husband through COVID, and I wanted a better quality of life. So why I got started, I was working as an executive marketing director in a construction company and had a kiddo. And from there, it was just hard. It was hard to maintain being a mom, being a wife, as well as my career. And I knew that I wanted to help people in a different sense. And so virtual assistants has become huge, marketing's become huge, and I just want to help other small businesses alleviate some of those daunting tasks that they despise because something I'm realizing myself too, we can't all be Superman or Superwoman, and finding people that you trust and what I call as business besties to help get through some of those tasks for you.
Yeah, awesome. So what have you done previously that's kind of really solidified what you're offering to people? And I know the list is long of, what you do to help, but what's that history a little bit more of what you've done on a bigger scale that lets you be an expert on the small scale?
Well, in the construction industry alone, I grew the company that I was with from having zero B2B experience. And from there, we got in with 6 of the top general contractors in Denver. And I took their social media from non-existent, and now they're upwards of, last I checked, it was 149,000 followers. And they started as a ma and pa shop. There was only 2 people in a van, and now they are upwards, since I started doing their marketing, they are now upwards of 120 employees, and we range anywhere from Denver to the Springs. And they just opened up in Texas as well.
Wow. And for contractors, I wouldn't say that I'm in that contracting space as being in real estate, but that's not easy to get eyeballs on your stuff because it's not, the sexy, stuff out there that you would typically see on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, stuff like that. So kudos to you. I know how difficult that can be. And if you've tried to build a following in any facet, it's just not, it doesn't just happen like you see out there, right? It takes a lot of consistency. I mean, you look at some of these big guys out there and they're posting 10 to 15 times a day on each platform. And that's more than one person, FYI. That's more than one person full-time job. I can tell you from experience. That's if you post once a day, like you're spending several hours a day to get on every single platform. So kudos to you. That's awesome. Now, so before getting into some of these challenges, that we all have, like give me the breakdown of the different services that you do offer business owners.
Well, from a marketing standpoint, I can do anything from digital creation to printed material, and anything in between. I now offer as well behind the scenes content creation, which is, if you have social media, that's kind of a booming subject right now.
Mm-hmm.
Getting away from stock imagery and getting, the business owner, in front of the camera and mastering your craft. And then I also do any kind of general administration work. So it can be light bookkeeping, calendar management, email management, really anything customer service based as well. If you don't have time to get bids out, I can do bidding as well. So a wide variety of
Yeah.
anything admin wise.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what do you see? Do you work primarily in Denver? Do you work is it location list? Does it really matter for you and what you do?
It doesn't really matter unless it is that behind the scene content creation. That does have to be in Denver, but actually all of my clients right now are in Texas at the moment.
Interesting.
Yeah, so Denver is a little bit slow going with this virtual assistant scene. And so a lot of the groups I'm in that are hiring, whether it's in real estate or any other business, is in Texas right now.
That's you kind of wonder, is Texas going through a boom right now? I know they've had a lot of people going in there. It's always fascinating how things kind of migrate around, the country. But with working with a lot of these small businesses, is there one thing that stands out to you as just the common challenge that you see small businesses, take on, whether that's a retail space or contracting, service-based providers? Is there something that stands out that you see as the biggest challenge a small business owners face?
The thing I've seen most is time delegation. Your small business is your baby. And so many people have the hardest time delegating tasks to other people because they don't want to release the ability and that baby of theirs. If you put your business in someone else's hands, there's a chance that it could sink. And there's also a greater chance that it could flourish because you can only pour from a half empty glass for so long before your glass is completely empty by trying to do all of the things.
Yeah. So how do you give, I know I struggle with that big time, right? Right now I'm in the process of hiring a video editor, right? And I've gone through 2 different ones already. And I'm like, if I could just get that one piece off my table, it's going to save me 8 hours a week, right? I know that, and I'm fine to pay for it. But then it's that up ramping time. It's the training someone else to make it how you want, but giving them creative freedom enough. And then they drop the ball. Something doesn't happen on time. And then you're like, screw it. I'll just take it on myself again. Right. And now you're back to doing it all and you've taken on more than you can chew. How do you get out of that repetitive cycle? Because I've done that probably for 15 years straight. I'll be honest with you.
It's hard. I think the biggest thing that I tell my clients, even if they don't end up hiring me, find the fit for your personality. If you are interviewing somebody and your personalities just do not vibe and mesh, don't hire that person. You're going to hate working with them. If you are okay training them and you love their personality and you guys mesh well and they have the dedication that you need, it could be a great partnership. It's just like a relationship, dating somebody. Find that person that's your mesh and your other half, and things can go great.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think you're spot on there. Most of the time, our own growth challenges happen because we're in our own way. Just get out of your own way, get rid of your ego, and trust that somebody else actually might be able to do it better because they have an outside view that you don't have. You're the owner of the company. You're the one taking care of clients. Like, you've got this tunnel vision to drive and go, go, go. But someone else could look at it from the outside and go, you know what? Those are the wrong words on that ad, right? This turns me off. I'm a mother. I've got 3 kids, whatever. I'm at home. I'm doing this, that, the other thing. And like, this just shuts me off, and I am your target audience, right? And like, you would never see that because of the tunnel vision. So when people hire you, like, how is it kind of structured, right? Someone reaches out to you, hey, I'm swamped. I need help with A, B, and C. Like, do you do things based on like monthly kind of contracting work? Do you have like dedicated hours that you spend with people? Is this like one-off project sort of jobs? Like, how do you typically work with companies?
So typically what I do, kind of the initial thing is just setting up the discovery call. Again, it's like the dating scene. So I try to make sure that we're a good fit for each other. And then I always send, if the clients sign with me, we do an onboarding where they give me all of the information I would need to make sure that we work successfully. And then from there, my clients choose anywhere from retainer work. So we work month to month or up to 6 months at a time. Or if there are one-off projects, we can do hourly work as well. Um, and then if they were to do the retainer with me, we do a monthly analysis of what's working and what's not working so we can adjust accordingly.
Okay, interesting. Um, so then, and I could see, with social media blowing up, right, in every facet, right? It's definitely the widely accepted part. I feel like we're close to the top of the curve there as far as acceptance goes. And maybe I'm wrong though, right? Things change all the time. Knowing that if you're a small business, like, you should be on multiple platforms. You should be in front of camera. You should be talking directly to your audience. Like, what are you seeing as some of the big challenges that people have on that end, social media wise? Is it that front end work? Is it the back end work? Is it the consistency? Like, how do you get people that want to be known and want to use social as their engine for marketing? Because let's be real, like, it's free to advertise to people. Like, Alex Hormozy said it best, and he's like, we now have a new line item in our P&L that YouTube pays us to advertise. So that's unbelievable. Like,
Yeah.
that was not a thing 20 years ago. And now we're getting paid to market to you. So how do you work with these small businesses, and what are the challenges that you have to work around to get them? Because it's almost a business unto itself, right? Is the social media engine part of it? Talk to me as much as you can about that, the different platforms you like what are you seeing out there as trends? Like, fill me in on everything you got social media wise.
I think right now the hardest part for me is getting my clients in front of the camera and making it comfortable. I don't want to sit here and talk to a computer screen or a cell phone. I think it's a little bit awkward. So having things around you that make you comfortable is what I tell my clients all the time. It can be as simple as you walking down the street with you holding your phone and just talking like you're having a conversation with somebody right in front of you, even if there's nobody there. Um, but the cool part is now that the faceless marketing is becoming so big because, again, nobody wants to get in front of that computer screen or that cell phone. So, where people used to joke and laugh about, oh, you take so many photos of your or videos of your food. That's a big thing right now because nobody wants to be in front of that camera. Um, so I think that's the main thing is getting in front of it. And then again, having the time to get in front of it. I can give you all of the tools that you need to market yourself. I can create the content. I can do all of these things, but what I can't do is I can't be in front of the camera for you, and I'm not in your brain, and I can't, figure out what exactly you want to say for these videos. I do help some of my clients script things, but then it takes away from some of that authenticity, I feel like, as well. Um, but yeah, no, I think, Instagram is huge. TikTok's huge, even though I know that ban is circulating right now. I do know that TikTok is trying to come up with an Instagram platform or something similar too. So we'll see if Instagram has some competition coming up. Um, and YouTube. YouTube is huge as well. And then Facebook. You have all of these different Facebook groups local to your different cities. And I'm a
Mm.
mom, and so I'm in every mom group across all of Colorado that you can think of. And I'm always tagging small businesses of people that I know looking for cleaning services or a massage therapist, anything in that realm, I'm tagging them. And that's just how you get that word of mouth out for small businesses around town.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's so many different ways you can use it. I love Facebook groups, right? And I know that's the boomer platform, right? But dude, it works. Like people are engaged, actively engaged. And I know my wife is part of all these gardening groups, right? And there are some heated debates on types of plants, fertilizers, pesticides, stuff like that. And like naturalists versus, nativists and bringing in outside plants. And like people get really intense. And I gotta say though, I mean, TikTok lately, like next to YouTube, TikTok is actually my next favorite platform. It seems to trend the best, where it seems like Instagram, Facebook, they're one and done, like spike, boom, 1,000 views, go flat, dead. But TikTok, man, they really, I think if there's going to be competition for YouTube, it's actually TikTok. They're pushing the long form. They're pushing the search, the I learned it on TikTok phrase. Like it's the best push I've seen, and it trends the best next to YouTube. Do you see a lot of your clients? Like, I mean, I know shorts have been all the rage the last 2 years, right? 3 years since COVID. Do you see more people wanting to go the shorts route versus the long form? Like, what do people want that you're seeing that aren't necessarily super adept in social media?
I still think, at least from my client standpoint, shorts are still absolutely what's trending and what they offer for their services. And I'll speak bluntly about this. I hate long form videos. I think they are boring. I do not have the attention span to listen to them. But if it's something that's educational and content packed with good things, I will take a listen. But I still do think, even though they're saying long form is more trending right now, I still am seeing such an uptake and big boom of shorts still.
Yeah, for sure. 110% agreed with you. And long form takes more time, and it's a different format, and it takes more than just a few good lines. And you could put a lot of effort into it. I mean, heck, there's plenty of videos I've spent 6 to 8 hours on editing, thinking it was like the best, and then it died, like 13 views, and you're like, it's dead, like nothing. And you're like, this is, at least with a short, like you can spend 5-10 minutes on it, and if it dies, it's no big deal. Like just do more. Which on that topic, are you more of a quality or quantity person?
I am quality all of the way. I think the quantity portion is going away from social media. I think people do want to see more quality stills or shorts versus, packing in Instagram with 18 different reels in a day. So I think that
Yeah.
quality is more important.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think I'm seeing a lot more production value out of the shorts lately for the people who used to just clip out from long form and turn it into short form. And now I'm seeing a lot more of a focus on, recording 10 shorts in a row, right? And then, doing the editing and making them look good and making them look nice. And really, like, you can put those on virtually every platform. They might not perform on Twitter or LinkedIn, but you can still put them there, right? But they might take off and the same thing might take off on Facebook. It might take off on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube shorts. And there's no rhyme or reason that I've seen. Like one could get 5-10,000 views and then the other one get, 100, and it's a bust, same piece of content, different target audience. And so with what you've seen on the clients that you've helped construction wise, virtual assistant stuff, like, what are their preferred platforms, and do you know why?
Most of my clients right now are huge on, actually LinkedIn is a big one for them.
Okay.
Especially in the small business realm. And from what I'm gathering, it's just because there's more business professionals on LinkedIn right now.
Yep.
I mean, it was built for. So having those clients that are going to be willing to pay for your services and know what it takes to be a small business, I think LinkedIn is huge for them, even in construction. I also think TikTok is another one. All of my clients love TikTok, and that's where they get a lot of their followings and their likes.
Interesting. So with that, like I know there's some challenges, and I have the same challenge, like people reaching out to me from the shorts versus the longs. What I've found personally is that my long form educational stuff is where people reach out to me as a business owner. The shorts is more like a billboard, but I mean, I'm talking real estate. I'm not talking the fun stuff. I will be the first to admit it. Like, if you're not looking to buy or sell a house immediately, like, I am very dry content for most people, and I'm okay with it. I'm not that. I don't dance. I don't sing. I don't none of that. Like, that's not me, and it's not gonna be me. But when like I have a challenge with, let's say, TikTok, for example, and being able to link to things, being able to have people reach out to me. How do you kind of structure that part for people to reach out to somebody from a short or a reel or something like that? Like, do you know what I'm saying there?
So the biggest thing right there is your logo or your brand. Constantly putting, how you can, when you have a video, you can put a picture in there too. So putting like your logo as you're talking so people know what to look for, or at the end of your video putting the verbiage and text of your website and where they can find you, and talking about that at the end of the video has been actually really successful for my clients. My one massage client that we do on TikTok, that's how she's found all of her clientele actually. And when I started working with her, she had two people that she had on a constant basis. And now she is upwards of 30 clients a month. And I've only been with her a month and a half. So, um,
Interesting.
but adding your business name, the text so people can see it. And then I know it doesn't link on the captions, but you can also put your website in the captions and people just have to type it into Google from there.
Yeah, for sure. So with that, so like to ramp up that sort of business, like I know that's not easy. Like, how many views are we talking per video is this client of yours getting?
Honestly, right now she's only at about 300 to 400 views. I mean, her views are minimal, and I think it's just the effective marketing piece. And I think that's something that we've gotten away from. Everyone thinks, oh, you don't have 10,000 followers, you're not viral, you're not all of these things. And realistically, only 1% of people can go viral on TikTok. Um, and so I think, again, that quality piece and knowing who your target audience is how you're going to beef up your revenue, even if it is only 300 to 400 views.
Yeah, no, and I think that was a great realization I had where it's like, no, you don't need 1 million followers to have a valid business. Like, you need your right target audience, right? Who is your listener? How are you connecting with them personally? Not this very generic, hey everybody, like, no, picture, your person in the office sitting in a chair that's been there for 16 hours, that's, back is killing them. Like, all they want to do is go home and lay down, but that's uncomfortable too. So how do you talk to that one person? Because even though social media is in front of the world, like, people are watching it one at a time on their phone, like looking directly at you. And if you're not talking directly to them, you're talking to nobody. So when people want to hire you for, let's say it is to help out with social media, right? We're on this train. Like, do you set up the videographer? Is that you? Do you help? Like, you mentioned scripting. Like, how does this look for most of the clients that want this part? Because I know people get hung up on everything. The equipment that they're using, which most of the time your phone is plenty fine, right? I'll reiterate that. Doing it now and taking the first step is better than over planning and never doing anything. So how do you get them through that without being too nervous? Like, coach me through what that actually looks like. Hey, I just hired you, Angelica, to come shoot a bunch of stuff for me. We're going to a house. Like, what now?
So essentially, what I do is I do come up with a script. That way, if they are super nervous in front of the camera, they have something that they can follow, which I can edit that part out of them holding the paper or however they want to use their script. But from there, what I do is I get to really know them on a personal level before we do move into that photo and video aspect of it. That way, they're comfortable with me following them around with a camera. Um, when we get to your house, let's say we're going to show the house. When we get there, I'm going to say, you know what? Go through this as if I'm an actual client and you're going to be selling me this house and showing me this house. And then the first 5 minutes are usually pretty awkward. I'm not going to lie. And then
Yeah.
once you start to realize that I'm just there listening to you perfecting your craft and there's just an awkward camera in front of you, people get comfortable because they're like, okay, this is what I'm used to. This isn't staged. It's me being, authentic. And this is what I do on a daily basis. And so reiterating that, you know, I build my relationships with my clients and really do get to know them. That way, when we do meet in person, it's more comfortable and I can really reiterate that fact of, hey, we're just going day by day. This is what you do on a daily basis. Let's just do it. And
Yeah.
I'm a very chill and mellow person too. And that's been one thing when I find my clients, I want that same vibe. I want to make sure that we're chill and mellow together. That way we can feed off of each other and have that great interaction when we are in person doing photos and videos.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that comfortability. And I think with clients in general, there's that trust. When you're comfortable with somebody, there's naturally a trust versus that friction every step of the way. Even if they make promises, that they're going to grow your business or something. Yeah, hire for what, personality, train for talent, sort of saying. So what is your like most ideal type of client? Who do you tend to work with best? Like if you had your avatar of a client, is it a solopreneur? Is it someone with a team of 5 to 10? Is it someone with, 50 employees that's just out of their mind working 120 hours a week? Like who is your ideal client? Male, female, the location, like what is that to you?
I would say my ideal client is either a startup, just a solopreneur, or upwards of 10 to 15 staff max. I do like to keep it small because I feel like the more intimate you are with your business owners, the more that you can really connect with them and really, help them grow and get into their vision and find out their target audience. I think the more corporate or larger scale you go, the harder it is to have that connection. And then my why is because of my family. I started this to have more quality time with my son, even though owning a business, I mean, you're always working, but I get to pick and choose my hours that I do get to work. And so I want to make sure that that's in alignment with the people that I serve and that they know how important it is to take those breaks and time away. Because again, you cannot pour from a half empty glass. You will burn yourself out.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I'm on about a 5-year cycle where I burn out. I know my patterns in life. Like I've got enough years under my belt where I've seen that roller coaster happen enough times. And it is a struggle. Like I struggle managing people anymore. It's, having that person relying on you for their livelihood is a lot of pressure, right? Like I could have something happen in my personal life and disappear for weeks on end. And unless I'm actively working with a client, like it wouldn't change anything. But when you have employees under you, like that adds a whole new level, which kind of brings me to what we're experiencing in Denver right now. Like Denver is extremely short on basic labor, right? So most of my contractors, just little experience, like we flip a lot of houses. I'm a real estate agent. I work with a ton of contractors. And over the past 5 years, I would say most of my small businesses that I've worked with went from a team of about 5 to 10 people, the owner plus 4 to 9 employees roughly, have all gone down to them and like their nephew. And I joke about that, but in the last month, I've had 3 different contractors that all said, it's me and my son. It's me and my nephew. It's me and my brother-in-law because they're the only ones who show up consistently to do the stinking work. You have a team of 10 and you try to schedule 5 days a week, knowing you might spill over and do a sixth day if someone calls out. But in Denver, like, there's such a shortage of skilled and unskilled labor to fill these positions. So how are you seeing any businesses overcome this? I don't know if I am personally, but you're more plugged in on the business side. Like, how are you seeing any of these businesses really overcome the amount that you have to pay an entry-level worker right now, which is high? Into $25 an hour doesn't get you a whole lot these days in Denver. I know from experience. Like, how are you seeing our small businesses specifically here in Denver overcome this, or are you not? And like, we're just lost.
I wouldn't say we're lost, but it has been challenging. Cost of living is astronomical in Denver anymore. And I'm a native, so I've seen it go, the other way. And I think the hardest part is, and you touched on it in the beginning, we all want to kind of be entrepreneurs. So many of us do, because again, it's that quality of life for yourself and picking and choosing the times of day you do get to work. And so it's hard when you have to do a traditional 8 to 5. I mean, when the summer comes around, I don't want to be in an office at 5 o'clock. I can take my laptop and go work in a coffee shop for that same time, but at least I'm in an area where I'm comfortable. So I don't know that we're lost, but I think right now Denver is in such a transition of the younger generation coming here. And so many of that younger generation wants that quality of life and to work for themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard when you have on one hand a job that'll pay you, let's even say it's $25 an hour, but you got to work 40 hours a week. You got to show up at this location. You can't be hungover. You can't be high. Like, let's be real. Like, we have a lot of people that have showed up stoned to work. They think it's okay. And you're like, no, I don't care if you have a medical card. Like, I don't even know if what I just said is wrong or not, but like, you can't drive equipment if you're stoned. Like, I'm sorry. And then on the other hand, they've got Uber, which maybe they get $20 an hour on average total for, but they can work whenever the heck they want. So why would they work for the man where everything's very controlled versus for themselves and they could do their own side hustles, right?
And that's one of my selling points with virtual assistants, I have to say, is, you can hire me for X dollar amount an hour, but you don't have to pay for my overhead or my benefits or my taxes. I pay for all of that. So you save so much money. And then you don't have to worry about if I'm going to show up into the brick and mortar you're paying for, because I work from home.
Yeah. Yeah. And we've seen a big trend away from offices. I mean, one of my favorite podcasters, Mike Stelzner, Social Media Examiner, like, he went from a team of 40, 50 people in an office. And I mean, he's one of the largest, longest running podcasts ever. And they now all work remotely. Like, he axed his office building, he axed his space, and now they're all working virtually. And he said the cohesiveness is great. And so corporate America, I know, wants to push back and get everybody in the office. But in reality, I mean, I've worked in offices. Man, I used to work 2 to 3 hours a day in an 8 to 10 hour day. I know what it's like. And at home, I can get twice as much done in half the time and not have all the water cooler talk. And so, yeah, we're going to this big subbing out for as much as you can. I'm a huge fan of it, huge advocate. Virtual assistants, virtual everybody, right? Video editing, everything, bookkeeping, invoicing, everything that you can sub out to someone who wants to work from home in the middle of Oklahoma. Maybe the middle of Oklahoma, 15 to $20 an hour is a great wage, right? Like, because their cost of living is way cheaper. Like, we're in that evolution work-wise where we can take advantage of that. You just happen to be in that business in one of the more expensive places on earth. So, so what do you see future-wise, right? Like, so small businesses, we've touched on it a little bit, evolution of where things are going, social media, the future of it. Like, what's your projection of what business is going to look like in 5 to 10 years? Any idea from your point of view?
Oh, I think we're going to go in a trend where, at least from my standpoint, where I see things, everyone is so me focused within their business, within themselves. It's all about me, me, me. I think social media and really all of the United States is going to go on an upward trend of it being more about you and everyone around you. Um, I know growing up, sharing was caring, right? Now that's not the now that's not the motto, and so I think we're going to go backwards to the sharing is caring, and people across social media aren't going to be influencers. I really do think it's going to be more about community. Um, and I'm seeing it a lot now in Denver. I am a part of so many different women's groups, and it's not the cattiness anymore. It's how do we help each other and how can we all grow together? And all of the algorithms on my social media for things that I follow and try to help my clients with, it's all going in that upwards trend as well of more community focused. Um, and I think TikTok, even if it does get banned, I do think TikTok is going to be whatever platform they create next is going to be the big platform to keep up with for sure.
Yeah, yeah, I'm totally with you. I was adverse to it, for a long time, but I think in the last year, what their biggest audience growth has been between the ages of like 30 to 50 or something like that. Like it's really set a new trend, and that's competition, right? Like that's what the open market does. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what'll happen. But so for anybody reaching out to you, of course, we'll have all your contact information below in the description here. But what is your preferred platform that you're on all the time? If people want to reach out to you, what's the best way to reach out to you? Questions on their business, marketing, like whatever it is, how can people get in touch with you?
Instagram is the thing I check the most because for my clientele, that's what's trending. So you can follow me on Instagram. It's AQ Marketing and Recruiting, or you can send me an email and I will get back to you within that same day, typically, unless it's midnight.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Angelica, this has been great. I can't wait to have you on in another year and we can touch base on all the new amazing trends that are going on in our city and just all around the country. And ladies and gentlemen, until the next time, happy housing.